special coverage on Union Budget 2025. ये है आपका बजट presented by State Bank of India. चलिए अब एक और खास मेहमान हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं, मिस्टर असीम चावला. ही इज़ अ टैक्स एक्सपर्ट. असीम जी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आज हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. असीम जी, मिडिल क्लास को बहुत कुछ मिल गया है, जितना मिला है उतना सफिशिएंट है कंजम्पशन बूस्ट के लिए?
Consumption boost, now these are two different things. If you think it is a giant leap of faith, I think yes, मेरे हिसाब से एक बहुत बड़ा confidence pose किया है पूरी in the entire policy making or the entire executive as well as the legislature which drafts the law and which implements the law. अगर आप उसको एक national apparatus के हिसाब से देखेंगे तो it's a great confidence which has been posed in the taxpayer community of India, whether वो middle class हो या एक salaried taxpayer हो या एक overall taxpayer हो, tax ecosystem पे एक बहुत बड़ा confidence है. उसका simple सा example ही ले लेते हैं. We have about close to 10, if you look at the taxpayers, last year we had about close to about 8 crores taxpayer, and this year the figure has क्रॉस 10 करोड़. एक स्मॉल डेटा पॉइंट, उसमें से 4 करोड़ के करीब हैं जो टैक्स फाइलर्स हैं बट टैक्स पेयर्स नहीं हैं. राइट नाउ विद टुडेज मूव विच इज अ वेरी बोल्ड स्टेप, जो एक अपने आप में एक बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस लीप है. इससे होगा ये कि अबाउट अनदर 1 करोड़ ऑफ taxpayers will become tax filers. Now over the years what has happened is that we have more tax filers than ever before. Okay. The taxpayers have not improved as much as, and therefore somebody also in your show also just mentioned about the abysmal tax GDP ratio, which has been a challenge altogether. Right. Now two things come to my mind. Revenue foregone on direct taxes because of this great leap of faith is about 1 lakh crore of rupees. Yeah. And at the same time, your revised estimate, and I must compliment you, you've got numbers on your pretty much tips. For 25-26, the net tax revenue receipt it shows an upward optimistic figure of about 28.37 lakh crore as compared to 25.57 lakh crore. So you lose about 1 lakh crore on account of this rationalization of tax slabs, but you still believe that on an overall basis you will make more, you will collect more taxes than before. So what are you expecting? Again, a continued increase in the number of tax filers, which we have seen in the last couple of years. If you go back to March 2020, the number of tax filers were about 5.7 crores now, which will touch about 10 crores, of it. So if you expect more tax filers, then the answer is yes. But whether we will be able to expand the direct tax basket because of this move, I think that entirely depends upon the levels of voluntary tax compliance which we expect after providing this confidence building measure that look, you pay taxes, we believe, taking into account inflation, etc. The new numbers are good, they are reasonable. But देखने वाली बात ये कि क्या आप tax payers और add कर पाएंगे? Because in the last 5 years, we have added tax filers, but we have not added taxpayers. I will always compliment the government, at least they've got more tax filers and therefore more people are in the net. You have more information, more technology. Yes. Faceless, annual information system, etc. So that's one part of it. I will not be, for somebody it may be a win-win thing that taxpayers are happy कि भाई उनको एक राहत बड़ी अच्छी मिल गई और ये applying the old Keynesian model of economics, you get money into the system to kickstart the economy. So it's a win-win situation. But here, I think what you said earlier was absolutely right. Now it is incumbent on the private sector to participate in capital formation. Post-COVID 2021 up until now, the government has straddled very gracefully the whole aspect of putting money, getting projects, getting more employment, and also welfare schemes have also improved. Their base has increased. There are a number of more schemes. So is this a great prelude to direct tax code? I think one, as a tax lawyer, the very statement that the new tax bill will be half in terms of size volume and the number of provisions, etc. I think that's very encouraging. But I think they have ticked a lot of boxes. One area I think which you will also be discussing later or maybe today is the benefits to SME in terms of increasing the threshold limit
Yes.
of what qualifies in
Yes.
SME
Yes.
and the rationalization all around on customs. I think that's a great thing which was pending for a long time. I think the industry will realize the benefits of rationalization of customs. I'm sure you will discuss this, but I know for the moment the hog headline is the demography, democracy, and admirable energy in nation building, and trust first and scrutinize later.
राइट असीम सर, टीसीएस और टीडीएस को लेके भी कुछ बदलाव किए गए हैं, उन्हें आप कैसा देखते हैं?
Yeah, but before that, I just have one comment on the fact that if you are going to sell silverware of your home to suggest that we are going to get numbers, I mean, I am a great fan of the government not being in the business of doing business, but the bitter lessons which the entire world learned, जो कोविड से तजुर्बा और कोई आई मीन कोविड आर नॉट गुड मेमोरीज फॉर मेनी वेरी ऑफ अस, बट अगर आप ये मान के चलें कि बिजनेस को में गवर्नमेंट रोल या पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं होता, इमेजिन the way private and I'm not for a moment against the great corporate India and their animal spirits, for the simple reason that you had to have some sort of a government support or intervention. For last 5 years, capital investment is not as formidable. Even if you look at the great statistics of stock markets, the number of IPOs increased, the number of aggregate amount of monies which have been taken recourse through in public offering. The point simple is like that. You can't run an excuse that you meet your disinvestment target numbers because that will get you money, and that money you're going to spend because 50% you're spending on central welfare schemes, etc. I do not buy that argument.
Sir, असीम सर, लेकिन पैसा कहीं ना कहीं से तो लाना पड़ेगा ना?
So a capital, I mean, what else? We have one of the most attractive corporate tax rates in the world. We have a great ecosystem. Now it is time for corporate India to put the money onto the table. Otherwise, Trump. I mean, the global headwinds will continue to change, and somewhere we have to unleash our animal spirits. Look at the services sector, whether it is their contribution in terms of overall exports or their contribution in terms of overall employment generation. What India has missed out is a very strong manufacturing sector run, and we jumped from a agrarian economy to a by default service sector economy.
Right.
Now, coming back to your TCS and TDS, I think I'm very, very heartened. The sheer fact that a common taxpayer, apart from the tax slabs, the issues with regard to TDS on rentals, the TCS threshold improving from 7 to 10, senior citizens threshold improving, rentals threshold improving, annual letting value insofar as 2 houses is concerned, the decriminalization of TCS provisions, sale and purchase together not getting overlapped. I think all in all, taxpayers should feel very relieved that their overall concerns, apart from the whole tom which we had about rationalizing the tax slabs. And I remember this show doing last year with you when we had the new tax regime, and it was made, and as a result of the rationalization of the new tax regime, more than 70% have opted for the new regime. The statistics speak for themselves. I think all in all, from a personal tax point of view, from a taxpayer point of view, I think this budget has given enough, or maybe overwhelmed also. And then there are areas which are also very strategic on international taxation front also, which have done well. Non-residents getting presumptive taxation on electronic manufacturing unit, the whole transfer pricing litigation, giving them a block period of 3 years, safe harbor getting improved. So I think TCS, TDS, personal taxation, these small issues which foreign companies and multinational companies have had their own set of challenges. I think all in all, great leap of faith.
असीम जी, अब जो आपने हमको समझा लिया कि मिडिल क्लास को बहुत कुछ मिला है, लेकिन अगर हम टैक्स रिसीप्ट्स की बात करें एज फार एज द गवर्नमेंट इज कंसर्न्ड, इस बार जो आरबीआई का डिविडेंड था और जो पीएसयूज ने डिविडेंड दिया उससे तो सरकार बच गई, पर ये माना जा रहा है कि आरबीआई का डिविडेंड FY26 में कम हो सकता है और अगर कंपनीज परफॉर्म नहीं करेगी और रिजल्ट्स अच्छे नहीं आएंगे तो वहाँ से भी थोड़ी दिक्कत हो सकती है। इस पिक्चर को आप कैसा देखते हैं?
Yeah, that is why, I said, I pretty much tried and preempt, but it's a very intelligent question. As always, your analysis is very deep. Is the fact that when they have given that upward guidance in terms of tax collection, then you are depending a lot on GST collections, and maybe with the rationalization of customs all around, making it very easy, user friendly. You may expect some more efficiency in terms of tax collection. I think there will be a lot of let's say unsaid pressure on the administration to ensure that the legit taxes are collected and are collected in time with the use of technology. The two other things which I want to digress for a moment, which I thought are equally important, is the fact that the world at large did not receive well our bilateral investment treaties, because after Vodafone we just decided one fine day to dump all of them, and then we've had very lukewarm response. You talk of Trump or the Western world. I know for last 15 years we struggled to have a bilateral investment treaty with the United States. And the UK thing is in the works. The EU, nothing is moving forward. We could have some accelerated one. So I think there is a fair bit of realization. ये reality check एक अच्छा हो गया कि अगर globally we have to be sitting on the same stage, we need a strong enabling regulatory and legal framework. Personal camaraderie, etc., will take you home, but then you have to sign the dotted line. So that's one. Second, what I really liked was this high-level regulatory committee for all non-financial sector in terms of bringing regulatory reforms, and the Jan Vishwas bill in terms of decriminalizing more provisions. Now, coming to your start with regard to possibly lukewarm payouts from Reserve Bank of India, I think then again, what are you pushing more? You're pushing more the ability to do some more disinvestment, because you can't tinker with subsidies, which is 6% of your outlay. Defense is about 8%. Central sponsored scheme are about again 8%. So those are non-negotiable kind of thing all around. So where is the pressure? The pressure would be either you borrow, and in the present times, how borrowing will shape up on the monetary policy, I think your guess is as good as mine. So all in all, what remains? The two couple of variables would remain is the tax collection, how efficiently you are spending in terms of your non-planned expenditure, etc. And on the receipt side, if you don't wish to borrow, then you will squeeze the last lemon in terms of not only dividends from RBI, but from all state-owned institution and public financial institution, etc. So that only leaves or may leave one or two line items. One of them would be disinvestment, and you would have seen इस पिछले 2-3 सालों में अगर आप देखें डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट को लेके बहुत ज़्यादा, the government is known for making very strong headlines or very strong statement in budget, but on disinvestment you will not hear much those very very focused purposeful statements. वो disinvestment को लेके आती नहीं है, but at the same time let's not underestimate the credit of getting disinvested a few big entities, etc. Now, insurance, will it result in one of the 3 state-owned insurance companies getting privatized, considering New India is already listed, and then what leaves is National, Oriental and United, and none of them are doing so great. You have to infuse capital just to make sure that they are on a going concern basis. But if you're looking at disinvestment purely from realization of the land, then you've got a whole host of space, but then that's not really disinvestment. You will demerge a big PSU, लैंड को एक अलग SPV में ले जाके आप एक लैंड की डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट कर दोगे for a reality project or something, but then you're selling your silverware. But what is worrying me, I mean, is really one great, and this is not to do with this particular government. This is an economic sign which we are losing in the, I mean, we're losing in the woods for the trees in terms of the great bull run or stock market, is the fact that the great income inequality divide our country is facing. I mean, you will be surprised, 10% of population owns 77% of national wealth. So it's like a particular family, it has 100 people, only 10 own the 77% of the national wealth, and those 10% of the top, whatever you call, they enjoy 58% of income. So imagine a home which has 100 earning members, 10 of them earn 58%, and 10 of them own 77% of the entire wealth.
Right.
Now this inequality is I mean, I'm telling you, we need a very strong middle class, because middle class is the great buffer between it's the great shock absorber of any economy, and the ones which are facing a lot of social unrest and are only on account of the disenchantment on this. Now, I am not a great believer of fiscal policy being a tool for redistribution of wealth. Tax Robin Hood का काम नहीं कर सकता, but at the same time there has to be a conscious thought in terms of how do we figure this out. And again, I'm not by any means espousing read between the lines कि आप wealth tax लाइए या आप inheritance tax लाइए. नहीं, मैं ऐसा कुछ I don't even have any covert thought around it. But this is a very stark reality which faces us, apart from what all growth numbers we are talking about and the deacceleration of economy because of other factors. But then what happens to others will equally happen to us if we want to be seen on the global stage in front. Then you have to face those headwinds. But how do you manage this great inequality of wealth is a very, very I mean, it's a challenge not for today but for posterity. Maybe the next generation will face this, the ones who are underprivileged or the ones who are privileged. How do you take that forward?
True. Aseem ji, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आज प्रोग्राम में शामिल होने के लिए. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and your insight on the budget. Thank you so much.